But we're going to start this hour with Arsenal, who hold a 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League table. Clinton, we've touched on them a little bit in the last hour, but no wobble against Sunderland. It felt like another really good performance, and really good performance at home as well. Yeah, a positive performance. Listen, Sunderland were decent. They were in the game. They caused a lot of problems. In particular, probably up front was a handful for Saliba and Gabriel. But, yeah, once Zubimendi gave them the lead, they were in cruise control, Arsenal. And they looked good. Ever since they had that blip, last 4 games, I think they've been outstanding. You saw what they've done to Leeds. And I know everyone says Sunderland are not the same without Xhaka, but they still have some really good players in that team. And, yeah, it's a good strike from Zubimendi. The way he cuts across it, fantastic. The biggest plus point for me is the 2 goals from Victor Gyökeres. We've questioned him, doesn't get involved a lot in the play outside the box, but what he's brought in to do, Emma, is to score goals. These 2 goals will give him confidence moving forward. But, yeah, big result for Arsenal, for sure. You said about them having that blip previously. Does it almost feel like, for Arsenal now, just keep on like this? Don't get complacent. Just keep going like this and get the job done. Yeah, don't look too far ahead. Just tick off every game. And that's what they'll do. They'll tick off every game. Especially when you're in a lot of competition. That's what I'm saying. They're in so many competitions. The squad's big. Yeah, they do have a few... 2 or 3 players missing, crucial players missing at the moment, but that's why they invested in the summer for times like this. But yeah, just tick every box and keep going. And as I said, I've said it earlier, I say it now, the Carabao Cup final is the big day for me. If Man City win it, then you're looking at it and thinking, oh, Arsenal, they don't get over the line again. Will that put pressure on them? And then 2 games later, they play each other in the league. So I think the Carabao Cup game final is the big one for both teams. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens before that as well, isn't it? I mentioned their home sort of form a minute ago. I know that's your bread and butter, isn't it, when you're looking at the Premier League? But no team in the Premier League has won more points at home this season than the 32 that Mikel Arteta's Arsenal have won, and nobody has conceded fewer goals than their 8 as well. Yeah, because defensively, they got the best defensive back 5 in the league, without a shadow of doubt. Calafiori, I know he came in on the weekend, but he's been out injured, but he's the one... Oh, and Capia will play at left-back. And then you've got Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, who's been outstanding, and David Raya, who's one of the best goalkeepers around. And throw into the mix Zubimendi and Declan Rice, 2 of the best in there that do a job and protect their backline. So, they're fantastic, but defensively really strong. That's why they've only conceded that amount of goals. And you never worry about Arsenal defensively. You worry about them, how many goals can they go and score goals? Because that's been the problem of recent. But the 3 goals, and even Mikel Arteta came out and said after they scored the 3 goals, and none of them were from set pieces. So they can score goals without set pieces. I love that when he came out and said that. We're no longer set piece FC. Exactly. Let's bring Dave in, because Clinton mentioned Victor Gyökeres, the fact that he was on the score sheet and maybe he's found a new role. Yeah, maybe not one that he wants, though. No doubt a couple of goals for him. Gives him a bit of confidence, but he came off the bench for the last half an hour, got himself those 2 goals. So is he an automatic starter, or is he better now coming on against tired defences? Well, Mikel Arteta has spoken of his starters and finishers, referring to his substitutes. Changes have paid off for the manager as well this season. Substitutes have scored 9 goals for Arsenal this season, and no other team has more than that. And it is now 6 goals in all competitions in 2026 for Gyökeres. 3 of those have come in the Premier League. So we have compared this season anyway, August to December on the left-hand side, and then the calendar year of 2026 on the right. Now, he is having fewer shots per 90 minutes, but his conversion rate, look at that, pre-Christmas 16.7%, that has shot up to 42.9%. And actually, rather intriguingly, he underperformed his expected goals by 1.36 pre-Christmas. And this year, he has overperformed his XG by 1.36, exactly the same number. So, is this spot of good form now for Victor Gyökeres just his season evening itself out? Interesting, isn't it? I think it's tough because he hasn't come to Arsenal to be on the bench, has he? No, he hasn't. You know what? Just put me off there. Paul Merson just come in. I know. We could have joined in the chat about Arsenal. He could have joined in the chat about Arsenal, Merce. He's the best at it. But, right, you're back in the room. No, we're back. I had to say hello to my friend, for sure. But, yeah, good TV anyway.
Did you hear what I said?
No, go on and ask me again.
Dave, I know you completely missed it. Dave was brilliantly just taking us through his stats.
He's always brilliant. He's top drawer. He's the best in the business.
But in terms of him coming off the bench,
yeah, listen,
he started on the weekend, didn't he? But he doesn't want to be... That's not why he's at Arsenal, is it?
No, but...
To be a player who comes off the
I agree exactly
make an impact.
what you're saying, but there'll be times, and Dave alluded to, there'll be times where there's certain games you'll have to start with Victor Gyökeres and he'll have to come off the bench. You've got competition for places in there. You've got Havertz and you've got Jesus. Havertz can play in that number 10 role while Odegaard's missing, but then you've got Eze to throw into the mix. Marino's now missing. But one thing I'd say is probably if I'm picking my best 11, he doesn't make the starting 11 in that number 9 spot. But one thing he can do, and I've said it many a times, defenders are tired. Once, say you've got Havertz or Jesus that play for 65, 70 minutes. When he comes on, he can be a threat, especially when the game opens up. Victor Gyökeres is a threat. When the team are in a low block, he's not. I don't think he's got the guile to go and cause problems, drop into holes like Jesus, scored a goal like Jesus scored against Leeds recently. He's not that type of player. But when there's space in behind, that's when it'll come alive. So I think there'll be certain games where you got to alternate the strikers. But he still have a big part to play. He had a big part to play on the weekend with his 2 goals.
What do you think he's sort of producing compared to maybe what they expected from him when he came in the summer? What were the expectations?
I think people thought he'd score loads of goals because of the chances Arsenal create. But they haven't been good in that final third this season, Arsenal. And that is the likes of Saka, who I think I rate highly and stuff like that, and the likes of Trossard and Odegaard. They have had spells, but not consistently at that top level, but they've been good for like 4 or 5 games, then it could be a drop-off. So, and they don't get enough crosses in the box to him. I've watched it so many times. He makes his movement in the box, but Arsenal want to score that perfect goal, which I call it. But, as I say, I think he'll play a big part, and he's the top goal scorer. And I think the second top goal scorer for Arsenal is own goals. So he is the top goal scorer at this moment in time. And long may it continue, and he might have to play a different role. At the end of the day, Arsenal fans, Arsenal players, Arsenal management team won't care about how many goals Victor Gyökeres scores. What they'll care about at the end of the season is them lifting the Premier League title.
Absolutely. Right, to win a Premier League title requires many different personalities, doesn't it? Skills, mentalities as well in a squad. However, what can players learn from more individual sports? Well, Gail Davis sat down with one of the players that Clinton mentioned a minute ago, in Leandro Trossard, to find out which of his teammates had the qualities of other sporting legends.
If Arsenal were a tennis player right now, would you rather win like Federer, maybe quite beautifully, or Gyökeres and just get the job done and keep going?
I wouldn't care as long as we win. So if it's nice, take that. If it's in any other way, take that as well. You just want to win.
Who are you most like?
I think a bit of both. I like the style of Federer, but the aggression of Nadal, I would say.
Nice. Yeah. What a combination. Let's talk a bit of golf then. Tiger Woods.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, another one of the absolute greats. Looking at the guys that you're with day in, day out, the one that makes you all raise your level is who in this group?
I would say Christian Norgard is a good example of that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Because?
He always wants to set a higher standard for himself on and off the pitch, and I think he's a very good pro.
And I guess the flip side of Tiger is someone like Rory McIlroy. He plays on emotion. Wonder who maybe is more like that in your team?
I think Ricky Calafiori is, the more he wins his duels, for example, the more he wants to go into them.
I'm just hearing a bit of a darts fan.
Yeah, I do.
Like a bit of it. So Luke Littler became the youngest player to ever win, ever reach the World Darts Championship final. Do you remember how old he was when he got to that first final?
16, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Who plays like they don't even realise they're supposed to be nervous?
I think I have a bit of that as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
You like that?
I don't care about what's going on around me. I just want to perform on the pitch and focus on myself and the team, and whatever happens in the game, I know there will be, I'm just that person. Even if I miss a chance, I know like the next one, if I get one, it's going in, and I have that mentality on the pitch, and I think it helps me in a lot of cases.
At snooker, it's about seeing the whole table, isn't it, before you start? Who's that one with that vision?
I would say Martin, yeah. He has that, I think, naturally, and also probably developed it when he was younger. And you know, when he's on the ball, you can expect everything from him, so he's probably the one.
With all those sort of sporting attributes you've got in your squad, it's about going out and fulfilling all of that, isn't it? To have this kind of legendary status. that some of these people do.
That's what we want, yeah. And that's what we are going for.
And you've got the ingredients to be able to do it in this group of players.
Yeah, I have the belief, yeah. And I think everyone has a belief and we want to go for it and that's what we're going to do.
Right, well, that is Arsenal then. Manchester City, meanwhile, 6 points behind the leaders. That is after their 2-1 win at Anfield yesterday over Liverpool. We spoke in detail about Manchester City in the last hour. I want to talk to you a little bit about Liverpool at the moment, though, who are